How have you been spending your quarantine time? How have things been going? What have you been doing to stay active?
Just trying to keep the little ones busy has been the hardest part. Obviously, a 3 and a 5-year-old, so you're starting to run out of activities and stuff. But we've been doing our crafts, and before spring break, they were trying to stay busy with their online schooling and stuff. And then personally, just been doing the program that the Kings have sent me in the gym at home here, and trying to stay in as good a shape as I can. And then the wife keeps throwing the things on the honey-do list, and it just keeps getting longer and longer. So, just trying to stay busy with stuff around the house and, do our part and stay home and try to get through this.
Well, let's talk about the workout program for a second. I'm really curious to see, you've been through this a lot, the off season, that is. You've had short off seasons, you've had long off seasons. And one thing we always hear is once September, October rolls around, you can tell who did the work in the off season when through training camp, when the season begins, when you get into the dog days around Thanksgiving and it really starts settling in. Do you think there's going to be an even greater separation come the beginning of next year? Because now it's really on guys to find creative ways to make sure they're staying in shape. A lot of people can't get to a rink. Most guys can't get to a rink. What do you think that's going to be like coming out of this off season into next season?
Yeah, I think there's just so many things up in the air. The hardest part is the uncertainty. You don't know if you're going to get the chance to get back on the ice, like in June or something when you usually do, or you don't know if the season's going to continue. Or I think there's just so many things that are up in the air. So you have to do your best to push yourself. Usually guys are using trainers in the summer and skating with, a handful of other pros and whatnot. So I think you just do the best with what you can. Obviously, everybody's circumstances are a little different. Some guys have some gym equipment at home. Some guys don't really have a whole lot to fall back on. So I think you just got to do the best you can with what you got and make sure you're pushing yourself. And, it's a long way until next year, so a lot could happen, obviously. But just make sure you're as prepared as you can.
I know that I personally ordered an adjustable dumbbell set online as someone who really focuses on the upper body to stay in shape during this quarantine. So what do you have at the Sutter house?
Do those range from a quarter pound to a full pound and a half, Zach?
The lowest weight in there is a 2.5, and I have yet to discover what the highest weight is, and I don't think I probably will. So,
you know what? The Kings have done a good job. Matt Price and Paul Lucas with us. They send us a daily program. Right now, it's pretty general in the sense there's a little bit of dynamic stuff and stuff to make sure the body's feeling good, and then you'll get your strength and your conditioning and your cardio and whatnot in at different times throughout the week. So I was fortunate enough that a few years ago we put a home gym in the basement here, so I'm lucky to have basically everything I need, and it's a pretty dummy-proof program that they have for you with it's an app and there's a video for each size if you don't know what it is, and it's pretty easy to follow. It's almost like having a trainer right at home with you, so it's been a good setup so far.
We're coming to you live with our post-game show after the NHL 20 game between the Reign and the Gulls went in the Reign's favor. If you have any questions for Brett or for the Reign Insider or for me, feel free to toss those up on Facebook or shoot them at the Reign on Twitter at Ontario Reign, and we'll be sure to get to those. So by all means, feel free.
As well as the Twitch stream here on Bailey's channel, which is where we are live
streaming.
There's
so much social media, I just can't keep track of it, Zach. So, are you watching a lot of TV right now?
Me?
That's to you, Brett. Yeah. You're the exciting guest. You're the reason why they're tuning in.
We've went through a lot of TV. We did Ozark in about 3 days, I feel like. We're doing Hunters now on Amazon Prime. We're almost through that. I'm finishing up Designated Survivor as well. We got a lot of TV going on, but usually mix 2 or 3 shows in at night after the kids go to sleep, and that's kind of how our night settles down.
Did you watch the Tiger King that everybody's talking about?
Oh, yeah, we got through that pretty quick.
Yeah. See, I didn't like it.
Interesting cast of characters there.
It left me somewhat dissatisfied. Number one, he should totally be in jail. Number one. So, when I watched Making a Murderer they left it at like, wow, maybe this guy shouldn't be in jail. But this one, I was like, I'm really glad that this guy's in jail. And then number two, I thought, and we talked about this on the Rainy Day podcast, I thought that the 7-episode series could have been about 3.
Yeah, you know what? There's so many characters in that show, and you don't know who. There could have been half of them in jail from kind of the feel you get, but yeah, different world they live in for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. Much different than where you are right now. You're up north of the border, quarantining up there. You mentioned when we tested out our video here that you're in Calgary. You'd love to be able to get up to Viking, but you're not sure when that's going to be.
Yeah, we're trying to follow the guidelines that they're given. We watch the news every morning to see if anything changes, but as of right now, it's a pretty strict stay-at-home order. Once we crossed the border, we actually couldn't leave the house for 14 days. So we had been doing delivery, grocery service, and had some neighbors helping out and stuff. But we were fully quarantined for 14 days. We just got off that. So the last couple of days, we've been able to do a few walks and stuff, mind you, in a foot of snow, but and go to the grocery store. So even little things like that, you miss for sure.
I've had to start waiting in line at grocery stores. It's driving me crazy. I don't know about you, Zach.
I have not experienced too many lines so far. I think we've maybe gone at good times. If you go at the right times, you can usually get around them. But I mean, it's certainly different. I went to Walgreens the other day, had to wear my mask, and in line they had 6-foot stations taped off. So you had to wait in like a 6-foot box, which was just very weird. And then at the counter, they built like these clear shields that were between you and the cashier. So So many protocols that all these businesses are taking that just makes it like a different experience. You're even going up and down the aisles and you're just like, wow, like you have to behave differently than you would.
Grocery store today, had to wait in the line outside, and they said, all right, we're going to take the next 3 shoppers in. And I was there with Meredith, my wife, and we were the third of the 3 groups they were taking in. Behind us was an elderly couple. So as we're getting ready to walk in, we're the last one, and they're going to cut it off at them. Meredith said, let's let them go. We'll let them go in so they can get out of here. Whatever. I said, good. Okay, we're going to let them go. So we said, hey, why don't you guys go? We'll wait. And the elderly man, part of the couple, just looked at us and said, why us? And I wanted to say, because you're old, but I couldn't say that. So I just said, all right, the guy wants to wait. He's going to wait. So they waited. And you know what? I kind of want to be like that guy one day. Don't let these little youngsters.
It was a good thought, though,
Yeah, it was a good thought. And he just shut us down. And, that's the man I might want to be one day. Well, let's get back to the hockey a bit. I mean, I think it goes without saying, how disappointing was it when you found out that this quarantine was coming? And now that it, once it's settled in and you were like, man, this is going to last a while. Do you have anything in your hockey career that's been as mind-blowing an experience as this?
No, I think it's been tough. I think it's been tough for everybody. Just kind of like what we talked about earlier, the uncertainty of it. What happens for the remainder of the year and next year. And there's just so many things up in the air. So it's been tough. But, at the same time, it's greater than hockey. You realize the personal side of it and how it's affecting families and whatnot. And that's, sometimes there's other things that are a lot more important than hockey. So we're just trying to keep things in perspective.
Speaking of things that are more important than hockey, a couple of questions from the Twitch chat here. One, a lot of fans wondering how your brother Chris is holding up, and a lot of fans wondering about the WrestleMania tweet that you sent out last weekend with your dad involved.
Chris is holding up good. He's back on the farm helping mom and dad out. He's a little mad at me that I'm not coming home for Easter this weekend. But overall, he's doing pretty good. They're staying pretty close to home and doing all the same thing, minding the measures that they're being told. But he's doing well. My brother is also a huge wrestling fan. He's got lots of belts and masks, and he's been to all sorts of the shows. So one day, I guess they're doing some spring cleaning, trying to stay busy, doing some quarantine stuff, just like the rest of us have been doing. And my dad walked out with the mask and some belts on. So it was a good photo opportunity.
I saw that one. I liked that. Did you watch WrestleMania? Were you able to catch it?
No, I don't know anything about wrestling. And
I didn't either, but
that's what made it even better about.
They've still been going, and maybe that's wrong, maybe it's right. They've still been going. I haven't watched it. I feel like it's the only live thing on right now. I should probably tune in at some point. I used to like it quite a bit. and I just have kind
I
of fallen
I
off.
seen Ronda Rousey was chirping all the fans today, calling them fake, but
I saw that as well. Yeah, that's always a good idea to get on the fans. That helps you make quite a bit of money. Never really agree with that. I think we did probably miss an opportunity in that game here this evening that you had the game-winning goal and to probably not feature your brother. He's been on the board in about every other Reign game, and we didn't get him in this one. So that's probably hopefully we don't have to do an opening day virtual game next season, but I guess this would be the time, huh?
Yeah, you know what? He's our biggest fan. He loves coming to the games and being on there, and yeah, he'll be more disappointed than the rest of us if we're not there on opening night next year.
Even if the Reign lose, even if it's one of the worst games we've had in Toyota Arena, I can always count on 2 cheers, and I mentioned one of them in the broadcast tonight. I said it's when the In-N-Out burger cards are given away to a section, and it's also when your brother gets on the video board. Those are the 2 that seem to get everybody riled up, even if it's like a 6-0 game. Not that we see many of those, luckily, and especially this season. I wasn't expecting any more. So that's always at least something for Toyota Arena. Zach, what else do we have on the Twitch feed? Anything?
A little bit In-N-Out related. Someone was wondering, what is your go-to post-game snack? And they actually asked if it was In-N-Out Burger, which for our team nutrition enthusiasts, we're probably going to say no.
Post-game snack. Well, if it's after a like a weekend where we don't play the next night, you know, a pizza or a burger goes a long way. Maybe wash it back with a couple cold beers. If it's a Friday night and we're playing the Saturday, then we usually stick to something a little healthier, like a rice bowl. You know, maybe just some protein and a carb on the side, but nothing too heavy. But yeah, I like a good pizza and a beer that goes a long way after a hard weekend.
We had a player in the ECHL. I won't, name his name. You might know him, you might not. But I remember that one time he brought McDonald's to the rink at 4:30 when he was supposed to get there to eat it before a game, and he got pretty chewed out by the coach. So what's the worst thing you've ever seen a player do to their body right before a game that you said, man, maybe this guy shouldn't be getting on the ice, or right after that you said, really, that's what you're eating? We got a game tomorrow. Have you seen guys with just horrible habits over the course of your career?
Yeah, I think there's some guys, some strange habits. I can't really name one offhand. I always thought it was really weird when a lot of the European guys will drink a Coke at intermission. I just can't imagine having a Coke at intermission. Everyone else is, loading up on shakes and water and all this, new fancy stuff, and these guys are drinking Coke. So I always thought that was a little strange.
I think Iceland is like per capita the largest consumer of Coke in the world. I read one time. So
I don't know if that's something to be proud of or not.
Maybe that carries over to other countries. I don't know. I don't think of like overweight people in Iceland. I don't think of people from Iceland other than Gunnar Stahl and the rest of the team from D2. But I would say, yeah, I don't know.
When's the show coming out? The new Mighty Ducks has got to be coming out any day here.
This is the time to watch it too. They got
to get this out for us.
I think I read the Ducks are the bad guys in this one.
Oh, well, that's terrible.
Which is weird, yeah. But as long as Emilio is back for the show, I'll tune in.
Yeah,
I'd love to see one where Emilio Estevez is the bad guy with the Ducks, and maybe Charlie Sheen, his brother, comes in and is a coach of another team. That could be a good. I should be a writer. I should have been a writer. I mean, you're what do they say? You're the hero long enough, you become the villain, kind of thing. So maybe that if you live long enough as the hero, yeah, something like that. All right, well, let's keep moving it right along. I'd love to keep hearing from the Twitch feed as long as those questions come in. But Zach, I don't want to assume, and I know that maybe you're screening them.
I'm taking a look through. I think we've asked all the ones that we've gotten, at least that I've seen. But we'll keep an eye out here.
What about keeping up with your teammates and things like that, or maybe guys you haven't talked to? I know the one thing I've heard from a lot of people is, hey, I have an opportunity right now to basically keep in touch with everybody and anybody that I haven't talked to in a while. Has that been the case for you? How much is your communication stretched over with your teammates and maybe some former guys?
We talk to the guys on the team a lot. We have a team group chat. probably every second or third day, we'll put a message in there and just see how everyone's holding up. And then we also have a team Snapchat, so the guys are pretty busy on there on a daily basis, which keeps us entertained. But yeah, we've been keeping in touch with everyone, players and staff both. I think I've talked to just about everyone that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Seems like everyone's doing pretty good, kind of in the same boat as us. So yeah, it's been good to talk to everyone, and I think I have talked to a lot more friends and aunts and uncles and people that I probably should keep in better touch with throughout the year, but you kind of don't. So it's given me an opportunity to reach out to some people and catch up, and that's been nice.
Have you been following Matt Luff's TikTok during this quarantine?
I've seen the Kings post a few of the videos, but I don't have TikTok. I'm not much of a tech guy, if you couldn't tell, Duels. I downloaded Skype for this interview today, so you know what? I haven't followed them. Some of the guys have been giving them a hard time on the team group chat, so I'm guessing they've been pretty good.
I'm not a big tech guy either, but to burst your bubble, I feel like if you have Skype, you're like behind the times at this point.
That's what I thought when they said you have Skype today. I'm like, I haven't used that since like my first year pro.
Here's a good question.
Honest, I downloaded Skype too to start recording the Rainy Day podcast. I didn't have it either.
Well, okay, here's one. If I wanted to, could I still get on AIM on Instant Messenger, or does that not exist anymore? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. I'm hearing in the back. We've actually got a producer on this. Believe it or not, may low budget, but it's it's heavy. I'm gonna reset the video. Yes, I can tell it froze. Yes, I can tell it froze.
There you go.
My face was somewhat strange, so I'm glad I caught it quick. Yeah, I don't have TikTok. I don't have Instagram, but I know that TikTok has become very popular. I stick to Twitter. I can usually find out everything there.
Twitch chat informed us to confirm that AOL and AIM has been shut down.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
I think I was using AIM even in like college. I had the AIM still going just to like send messages. What a freeze there you have going there. Nice.
That is a good one.
Did I freeze again?
You did. Really good. Just leave it.
If we aren't getting a hint, I will tell you, I last night watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off cover to cover. So it's on Netflix. Anybody needs to know. Excellent movie. A lot of time on our hands, obviously, on the weekends especially. So anything you need to do. Other than that, though, Zach, I think unless there are any more questions from Twitch, any more pressing ones, it's probably time.
We got a couple, if you don't mind here before.
Please, by all means.
Before we sign off, Suts, do you personally have any pre-game superstitions or in-game superstitions?
I don't know if they're superstitions or not. I'd say I'm extremely routine based. I have to do the same warm up and tape my stick at the same time, and I watch that clock pretty close with my whole pregame routine and warm up and that whole thing. I get a little superstitious, I guess. Maybe if I score, I'll wear the same tie the next game. But other than that, nothing too crazy. Just try to stick to the same routine, and that way you kind of get pretty how your body is going to feel doing the same thing on a nightly basis.
So we had Vinny Laverty, former Reign Captain, your teammate for a season and a partial season on the Rainy Day podcast, launching either this weekend or on Monday. And a question that we got was, how did it feel when you were named captain after Vinny left and you took over as a C?
Well, obviously it was hard to lose Vinny. He was a great captain and a great teammate. He's a really good friend. So, I see quite a bit and he's probably one of the guys I've kept in closest contact with from my old teammates. So I guess it was an honor to take it from such a great guy, and it was big shoes to fill, but it's always hard to see a good teammate leave for better, different opportunities, and I just tried to pick up where he left off and keep being a good leader and a good guy, and that's all you can do.
I'm going to show you a couple more coming in here. What age did you start playing hockey, and are you, or at what age might you involve your kids in the game if they want to play?
I think I started skating lessons when I was 3, and then I started hockey when I was either 4 or 5. I hated skating lessons, and I think most kids do. You just want to pick up the skate and hit a puck around the ice and go play with a bunch of kids. But I think it's important at a young age that, you learn to skate and you learn some of the fundamentals before you get out there. So I started pretty young. And actually both my kids are skating now. My older one is in skating lessons in hockey, and my younger one is just starting to skate, and they're 3 and 5. So, they love it. I love taking them there, and it just kind of keeps you young and brings you back to the old days. So, you get out there and you see those ponytails sticking out the back of their helmets and the big smile on their faces, just fills you up with joy.
So in the AHL, there's a lot of roster moves, both up and down. And how do you guys keep team cohesion going when, guys could be in 1 week, out the next week, and et cetera?
I think just when someone walks in the door and he's a new guy on the team, you make sure you introduce yourself to him and try to make him feel at home as quick as you can. We're lucky on our team. We have a great group of guys, and you can hang out with any guy on any given night, and there's no cliques or anything like that. So I think just make a guy, feel like part of the team, maybe ask him for dinner, or, if he needs a ride, or just little things that can go a long way when you're with a new group of guys. And then, when a guy gets sent down, you just, maybe give him a little pep talk and pat on the back and just let him know that, if he plays well and does things right, he'll get another chance to be up. And I think that's all you can really do is, support one another and, be there when a guy's at his highest and his lowest, and just be a good teammate.
One guy who you were teammates with for about 2.5 years was Cal Peterson. He earned what looks to be, a full-time NHL call-up during the middle of this season. What do you think about his success at the NHL level and his ability to be a full-time NHLer moving forward?
Well, first, I'm not surprised. I think he's got the top-end talent. He's got a really hard-working attitude. Every day in practice, he competes for every puck. He brings it at the rink every day, whether it's on the ice, off the ice. And his demeanor is pretty calm, cool, and laid back, which for a goaltender, that's a pretty important aspect. So we're all extremely proud of Cal and happy for him. And it really couldn't happen to a better teammate. He's always a goofball in the locker room and a guy to keep things pretty light. And we were all extremely happy and excited. And I know a lot of guys were tuning in to most of the games he was starting up there. And I think we can all expect him to do great things.
Well, it was certainly great to have him back virtually for this one game. 38 saves.
Got sent down for the one.
Win over the goals. But that was answers all of our Twitch questions. Cam, do you have anything else?
I just want to say, again, thanks to all of our sponsors and to the Hope Reigns Foundation for all the prizes donated, and congratulations to all of our winners. I think we mentioned it during the game, but if you are a winner, we're not going to be sending out anything or anything like that until we get more guidance, I think, and we follow local ordinances on how we're supposed to be living right now. But rest assured, we have your names and everything like that. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to Ontario Reign Service, and they're all still working. They'll be able to help you out. Otherwise, I do, just where we are on a hockey podcast, want to make sure that, I know, Zach, that the Reign tweeted it out today, but we want to send our condolences from the Ontario Reign to the Cave family, and obviously it's the terrible tragedy with Colby Cave. Our condolences go out to his family, to the Bruins, to the Oilers organizations, and just a horrible thing that's happening that of course isn't overshadowed by what's going on right now. But our heartfelt condolences from the entire Ontario Reign family, and obviously the world of hockey has resonated that as well over the course of the day. So with that, though, we want to thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. Keep an eye out, even though that we would have hoped that the playoffs would be starting sometime around next week. Hopefully we'll continue to talk to you, and the Rainy Day podcast is going to continue weekly. And as Zach mentioned, our next guest is Vinny Laverty. So we're looking forward to having that podcast drop very shortly. And we've got more guests coming up, more Reign players and more hockey people like Laverty and like Scott Housen, who we had on coming up as well. Otherwise, Brett, thanks for joining us. Hopefully you're able to make it eventually back up to some other family, but we hope the whole Sutter clan is doing well and that you guys are staying healthy and staying safe and staying, I guess, inside, not really going anywhere for the time being.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. All you fans out there watching, thanks for tuning in.